What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Sideline Summit. I'm Antonio Perez, joined as always by Danny Code, DC UPenn's finest. Chris will be on the way. He ran into a little bit of traffic, but as of right now, we will be getting the episode started with a two-man weave. We're here to recap Week 10 in the NFL. There were a lot of good games. We're going to boil it down to 6 games. Starting with the peak of the week, we will be talking Falcons Colts. As Jonathan Taylor has easily put himself in the MVP conversation, even as a running back, but before we get into any of that, leave a like, subscribe to the episode. Audio listeners, leave a like, 5-star review. And let's just get into summits and plummets right away. Give it right to Danny.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with my summit of the week. It's so summit of the week has to be got these new running shoes for the race day. Really excited to try these out tonight. Very pretty shoes, the Nike Vomeros. Kind of blew up a few months ago, but very excited to try them out. I've been running on cloud, so I want to make sure these Nikes are broken in before the race day. But very excited. Summit of the week. Keep it in summits. Double summit this week. I'm not going to talk about the weather being ass. Don't need to do that. Second summit of the week. 100% is got some update on California. So looks like we might be moving out there in February. So
You're moving again.
part 2.
How optimal?
Twice in 5 months.
As for the college football world, my summits for college football this week, big one to Texas A&M, another win against a ranked opponent. And this one, especially with what went on, over in Happy Valley with Indiana just so squeaking by, Penn State. And now it really starts the conversation for who should really be in that 2 spot. You could have had the argument before Texas A&M has a great resume. Indiana had that road win against Oregon that's kind of been keeping them afloat. But I think the College Football Playoff Committee, a lot of the AP voters, they're starting to kind of see the light that A&M might be the second best team in the country. Hell, if Ohio State wasn't the third best team in the country or whatever it was, the first, second best team in the country at the start of this year by the AP voters, then maybe Texas A&M already has that spot. But they continue to build their resume. They have 3-6 South Carolina. They struggled with them last year. Hopefully, with a fully healthy squad outside of Le'Veon Moss, they'll be able to get a win, head into Sanford, get a win, and they'll be going up against Texas undefeated. So that'll be a huge one. Big losses for just the ACC in general. No one is generating any kind of separation between them. Virginia started to, especially to the college football playoff, it seems like Virginia was going to start to run away with this thing, and they came to a halt. Georgia Tech was the week before. They also came to a halt. Louisville suffered a loss when they were starting to pick up steam. So that conference is kind of all over the place. And I saw Lagway bring up a point. He was like, he thinks maybe is it crazy to say the Big Ten is closer to the ACC than the SEC? And maybe like last week that was like a decent take. And his purpose behind it was saying that the back half of the Big Ten is really bad. Big Ten has 18 teams, so like that means they have 9 good teams in the conference. So yeah, I definitely couldn't get behind that take. Like the ACC is. They're about closer to the American right now than the Big Ten. So, just a bad week overall going on in the ACC. And just another hypothetical win for the SEC as always. But let's get into the peak of the week. We're gonna talk about the Colts Falcons game over in what was it, Germany, I believe. Yeah. Danny, I'll pass you the rock on this one. I mean, the Falcons got an early lead on this game, and they had a 4-point lead heading in the third quarter. They at points in the game where it seemed like they had the Colts number offensively, but down the stretch, Jonathan Taylor, Daniel Jones were able to pull away from this thing. You had Tyler Warren, who had 8 catches in this one. Jonathan Taylor had 32 carries for 244 yards, 3 touchdowns to go along with 42 yards in the pass game. But last week, your Steelers did a number on them. the first half of this game, we're potentially talking about, okay, maybe there is a blueprint, maybe as simple as just turning the ball over, what can we do to turn the ball over? What pressure can we get on Daniel Jones? It seemed to have been found until the back half of that third quarter and the fourth quarter. So what did you like about Indianapolis this weekend? And how do you think they responded to the quote, figuring them out?
It's all about resiliency. I think this team is resilient and proved that. Over 500 yards of offense. I think they're closer to 600 yards of total offense. Half of that coming from Jonathan Taylor himself. And like we said, let's talk about Jonathan Taylor's capability of winning the MVP because he scratched and clawed them back into the game. The 80-yard touchdown. He showed that he is the best running back in the NFL this year. And maybe that's attributable to his O-line, but I think he's probably been underrated the last few years just because how bad the Colts team have been. And it's like as soon as this Colts team gets good again, who's good again? Jonathan Taylor. And I don't think it's a mystery. I think their receivers are also playing phenomenal. It's almost like they needed a guy like Daniel Jones to come in and just play point guard. Like it could have been Kirk Cousins, it could have been Daniel Jones, it could have been Michael Penix. It couldn't have been it's Anthony Richardson. But the reality is that this team just needed someone to come in with a little bit of experience operating offense, and that's exactly what happened when they played the Falcons. The Falcons had that game won. It felt like every moment that the Falcons had the game won, the Colts just responded. So resiliency is the clear thing that I think kind of came out of that.
Yeah, absolutely agree. And I think their defense did a really good job down the stretch. I thought Daniel Jones was pretty exceptional down the stretch as well. He was making, second, third read level throws. Obviously, Jonathan Taylor did his thing. I think he's very much in the MVP conversation. I know none of us actually gave him a nod. I know a couple of us might have gave him like an honorable mention or whatnot. I think Chris voted for Jonathan Taylor. My apologies. He's definitely picked Jonathan Taylor as his midseason MVP. And I definitely should have had. I think I had him in the combo, but it would be a shame if he got robbed of Offensive Player of the Year twice due to historic receiver seasons. Obviously, in 2021, he was having an incredible season, and then what are you going to do? Cooper Kupp had the greatest receiver season of all time, so we'll see how that one comes down to the wire. I think he's very much in the MVP conversation. It would only hurt if he won because that would just solidify that Saquon should have won last year. But I digress. I guess Saquon's team was too good. So nonetheless, on the Falcons side of things, man, Bijan's good. Drake London's good. Stat line won't even show it. Kyle Pitts' stat line should look a lot better in this game, and it all comes down to Michael Penix is not it. I think I'm good. I'm good, man. I'm good.
It's strange, man. He makes throws that on film. He's what people think Justin Herbert is. He makes a throw on social media that you're like, wow, that's a good throw. But if you actually watch the film back, sometimes it's like you're just missing the throws, man. There's a throw in the game. Was it Mooney or maybe Mooney? Maybe it was London. Cooked the corner. Or maybe it was Pitts, I think.
Are you talking about the end zone shot?
Lob. It was Pitts, yeah.
Yeah, completely under. Pitts destroyed whoever was guarding him. All you got to do is just
put it in the bucket. There. Yeah, put it out there. Let him run under
it.
And I will say he made some throws on that potential game-winning drive at the end of the game. And Darnell Mooney just tried running before he caught the ball.
Yeah, that was bad. That was bad for sure.
That was one of the worst things I've ever seen. You can't be doing that in the fourth quarter of a game. We're overtime. Come down the stretch, catch the ball, and catch it first.
And go ahead.
He's a good quarterback. He's not great. And I think he'll have a short leash though because his age.
What are we defining as a good quarterback these days? How many quarterbacks can be considered good? I was just talking about the great quarterback inflation. If you're the 19th best quarterback in the league, let's say I think at the end of last year, you could probably say that Caleb Williams was in like that 19th best quarterback range. And you say, yeah, Caleb's pretty good. He's pretty decent. But like in comparison to his peers, he's below average starting quarterback. Where would
Yeah, it's
Penix
like
stand?
there's so much talent, you know. It's like I feel like it's hard because like
But
15 years ago, it's like you look at like these dudes would all. I feel like a lot of these dudes would pass Jay Cutler, like in like talent wise. So like you're looking at Jay Cutler was a fine starting quarterback. Some would say good at some points of his career, but a lot of these starting quarterbacks, like rank 15 to 25, make Jay Cutler look awful. So it's hard, you know. Not trying to slight Jay Cutler at all right now. I just thought that's a Bears quarterback that when you compare to Caleb, I don't know. Sorry, it's hard though.
yeah, no, I hear you. But I mean, that's just kind of the way things go. Like in the NFL these days. Like, and I think that's the approach I'm gonna have to take going forward as well. You know, if you're the 16th best quarterback in the NFL, that may be, I don't know. It could be Jared Goff. It could be Caleb. It could be, I don't know. I don't know. What it could be right now. It could be Jacoby Brissett for all I know. But yeah, if you're past that mark, I have to consider you bad. And I know Penix is definitely below that mark. I would not consider him a good quarterback. I wouldn't consider him a decent quarterback. He's at his big age, and it's continuous bad throws with him, not setting his feet. It's all of these little things that I cannot stand out of his game. So yeah, I don't know about drafting a first round quarterback. You might as well see this rookie contract through, but I would definitely look to invest for sure. But let's get to the rest of the week. The week 10 recap. We can start over in Green Bay. Packers fall to the Eagles in a 10-7 game. Nothing impressive. As we bring in Chris here just in time. Yeah, Chris, thank you for joining us. Hope everything's okay, of course.
Yes, just a DWB. If you never heard of DWB, it's driving while black. That's what I was doing.
Oh, I said the most white answer to that. I thought it meant don't worry, bros.
Oh, no. Well, close. I wasn't worried, but I just was DWBing and I had an extra because I have hair. Brother pulled me over and said, it looks like, direct quote, it looks like your front headlights out, but he's behind me.
How does that
work?
How do you know that?
DWB? That's what I'm trying to tell you. I was like, nah.
I thought that was abbreviation for like Dallas something worth or something like that.
I wish. I was just DWBing, but
Dallas
I'll tell y'all later
boys,
when we get off stream. I love you off stream.
But yeah, we're getting
I saw the game was like
the
Dallas Nico, something about Nico or something. I don't know.
Don't worry, we did already talk about Colts Falcons, but we did give you flowers for saying Jonathan Taylor was your MVP before he went absolutely nuclear in Germany. Maybe I shouldn't say those two things together, but
maybe we should nuke Germany after World War II. I don't know. Maybe it's just payback.
Sideline Summit History Channel coming soon. But we're getting into Eagles Packers here. It was 10-7, a complete snooze fest if you aren't a fan of either team. But best believe I was on my toes every single drive as if both these teams were about to be shooting it out.
Jalen Phillips, man.
Yeah, Jalen Phillips had a great debut for Philadelphia. Nolan Smith had a solid first game back. Offensively, seemingly the only two guys that kind of showed up was Jalen Hurts and really Devontae Smith. Jalen Hurts didn't play great, but far from bad. Certainly far from bad. I thought he was exceptional outside the fumble and then the one missed throw to AJ. But I mean, this continues to prove that they can win good, they can win ugly. But the only thing that's going to change, the only difference between the two is how the media perceives the wins, how much they're going to talk. But unfortunately, in this one, there's the other team is a little bit more controversial. So they're on their ass.
The thing is, the Eagles might not have winning pretty, but their offense did marry their defense. Usually you see their offense is like hot and cold. Like, I think football is all about the one side of the ball marrying the other side of the ball and making sure they play in conjunction together. And that's what happened yesterday. if the Eagles were punting the ball and getting the defense was not bending but not breaking. The Packers missed multiple field goals. You know, it's
They missed one, I believe.
I mean, that was that field goal, but it was. It's not what I'm making a point. They got in across the 50-yard line and just kept punting the ball multiple times. That's what happened.
That's not the two sides being entwined. The defense balled out yesterday. The offense was pathetic.
I'm saying they didn't play a perfect game. I think they married each other, though. And by that, what I mean, if the offense is given 20%, the defense is given 80%. They say marriage is
I see where
somehow they
Yeah,
make it
yo,
100%.
nah, I'm not gonna hold you. That takes horrible. I would not ever say a defense that let up 7 points and the first touchdown wasn't until like 7 minutes left in the game. I would not say that was them giving 80%. They balled out.
I'm not saying 80%. I'm saying they married each other. The defense made up for what the offense lacked, essentially. In a marriage.
Yeah, that's what I took from it. Not the percentage. The percentage, I think.
Yeah, that's
what I took from it. I took from it like they picked up where they.
Yeah, no, but you started by saying that the Eagles are finally doing that. No, you don't want to do that. You'd rather just both start being good.
Yeah,
so I don't know what your entire spiel on that was. That was something. But Chris, what did you think about this one? I mean, on one hand, you have the Eagles who, coming off 2 pretty wins, didn't have a pretty win, and then the Packers, who were just 5-1-1 2 weeks ago and leading the conference, have now lost to the Panthers and the Eagles, and they're behind the Bears in the NFC North, guys. They're behind Iceman. Yes, we are calling him that.
I'm interested, and that's why he's my nephew. Jaden's my actual biological. Jaden is my actual biological.
Yeah,
son.
he's like because my one cousin Sally, right?
Nah, for real. Nah, for real.
He go on ancestry.com.
Yeah, he's from 12 marriages away.
Real nephew.
He's an 11th nephew of mine. I promise you that. I don't know, but I think the Packers are a good team. But I think the difference between the Eagles and Packers' good team narrative is, yes, the Eagles are a good team, but the Eagles are a good team made up of superstars to an extent, in my opinion. Saquon Barkley, superstar. AJ Brown, superstar talent. Jalen Hurts, depending on what you want to say, superstar. The Packers are a good team, but their one superstar is on defense. I love Jacobs, but I don't think he's a superstar. And I think that's the difference between this game.
Not anymore, at least, yeah.
Yeah. Pre Green Bay, 100%. But I think look at the big play made. Big play made by Devontae Smith. Some of the plays to kind of carry the game. To keep the game afloat. Jalen Hurts using his legs or Jalen Hurts in the quick game. So I think it's the superstars won this game. And I think the Packers superstar kept them in the game, putting constant pressure on the Eagles. Michael Parsons was running full speed after Jalen Hurts. It felt like every play. But they just withstanded that. And I think that's what I took from it. It's levels. It's levels to being good teams. Some teams are good teams because they work well together, because they have good coaching, blah, 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 all the intangible things or all the small things. Some teams are good because their players are just better than yours. And when you need them to be, they do so. That's kind of what I took from it, honestly. 2 good teams, but the team with the better players won. That's my take on it.
I had a question for you guys, Packers related. Probably won't do it in the middle of this season just because of how good they're doing. How hot do you think Matt LaFleur's seat is?
I don't know. I think next year it'll have some heat to it. I think you give him like a little bit more than half of the season with Micah, and then you kind of give him not a clean slate, but like next year's your hot seat year. That's my thought. But I obviously be wrong. But that's how I would look at it.
I don't think it's seat's hot, man. I think Jordan Love is playing some bad football.
I completely disagree. I think LaFleur is failing Love more than the vice versa. Last night, Kevin Patullo put on one of the most conservative, worst play calling performances of the season. But we won, so we're not really going to talk about it. Well, most people won't point out the Eagles won, so we don't really have to pull out the Kevin Patullo, what are you doing? Because Jalen Hurts and Devontae Smith saved the day. Which also want to make another point. That 4th down that they failed, they're saying that apparently Hurts and AJ went rogue. And they said, screw it, we're going to do it. So basically, Jalen Hurts is putting the ball about 1 yard left to this being like the highlight of the century. AJ or Hurts and AJ did it again type of thing. But anyway, back to LaFleur. LaFleur somehow out-conservative Kevin Patullo. This is not acceptable. All right, you don't have Matthew Golden. Romeo Doubs gets hurt later in the fourth quarter, and you're without Tucker Kraft for the rest of the year. Well, you're not going to have Tucker Kraft's not coming back, and you knew Matt Golden wasn't going to be playing in this game. So he hasn't been available in a couple games, and he's been invisible in a couple games. So you have to be able to draw this thing up while still being dynamic. Your defense is going to be able to get done. Your defense allowed 10 points. It is unacceptable how you went out in this game. The clock management wasn't great to end either half. Play designs weren't exactly great. Yeah, Jordan Love didn't play a great game. He missed Dobbs on a corner route. That was bad. I think he missed Dobbs again in the middle of the field. But I was not impressed with Matt LaFleur last night whatsoever. I'm not saying he's all the way on the hot, and you're definitely not wrong for saying Jordan Love isn't playing well. But again, like Kevin O'Connell said, organizations fail young quarterbacks before the vice versa. And Jordan Love has showed us good football before. He showed us good football this season. But it's LaFleur who's constantly coming up short and having these same issues. So just want to throw that out there. Just something to think about.
I get it. These receivers, I think they went and got Golden. And we talked about how the Packers didn't have a wide receiver one, how they've kind of got like a bunch of wide receiver twos. I think they were hoping Golden could come in and be an impact player in year one. And now they have no first-round pick because they traded for Micah Parsons. So if I'm the Packers, I'm starting to question, do we have an X factor on the offense? Maybe it's Josh Jacobs. Maybe it was Tucker Kraft, and maybe he's gone. I'll be back maybe at the end of next year.
Kraft.
And looking forward, can this team compete without the X factor on offense? I say no. The defense is still good, but I don't know if I could see this team as a Super Bowl contender without having a playmaker that's an X factor on offense. And I don't know if that's crazy for me to say or what, but
I mean, the way the division is shaping up, it's not crazy to say they can miss this thing altogether. It's not crazy.
I don't know if they will.
It's not again. I'm not saying they will. I'm saying it's not crazy to say.
Oh, their schedule is atrocious. I don't know if you looked ahead.
Well, they lost to the Panthers, and they
lost to the Panthers,
and they tied the Dallas Cowboys.
I'm going to tell you,
and they lost a game in which the Philadelphia Eagles put up 10 American football points.
Correct, they did. They have, just with the schedule, they have the Giants, Vikings, they have the Lions, they have the Bears, they have the Broncos, they have the Bears again, and then Chris, they got your Ravens. And then they got the Vikings again. That is the divisional hell. I want to tell you something, though. They control their own destiny. I think they missed the playoffs.
Can we go, okay, they won 5 games this year. Can we go over who they've beaten? They beat the Lions week 1. I cannot begin to tell you a bigger fraudulent game than that, but
it was good. They played well.
That's a quality win, and that's their last quality win. They beat the Commanders. They lose to the Browns the next week, by the way, and then tie the Cowboys. They beat the Bengals, no Joe Burrow. They beat the Cardinals. That's not an accomplishment of itself, even if Kyler Murray was playing, but he wasn't, if we want to throw it out there. They were in a struggle fest with the Steelers until the middle of the third quarter, but they beat them. Fair enough. You lost to Carolina at home. You lost to the Eagles at home. Definitely not ridiculous to say that they can miss playoffs. And now bringing up the rest of that schedule. I mean, I feel bad for any team that has to see Baltimore from here on out.
Yeah, because the Lamar's playing with the vengeance of death on his back.
Yeah, they put Lamar running back, bro. And I'm losing the name right now. Chris, you got me. Number 77.
Oh, man, Daniel Falale needs to be shot into the sun tonight.
Yeah, that's one of the worst offensive linemen I've ever seen. But nonetheless, not to harp on this Eagles game. Let's keep the chains moving. Let's go to the Pittsburgh Chargers game. This one was another primetime game that was pretty much a snooze fest until the middle of the third quarter, about fourth quarter.
3-2. Certainly
Yes,
football game.
3-2, 5-3. This is like the start of like a Boston Celtics Knicks game or something.
No, bro, that was a baseball game in the 7th inning, bro.
That was Paul Skeens came out the game, and then their bullpen gave up a 3-run home run. Unfortunate, but
exactly,
I don't know how the other 21 points were scored, but it's
in a row too, though. Like quick, like it happened quick.
Yeah. As for the Chargers, I mean, after the 3-0 start, they ended up losing 3 of their next 4. Resulting in a 4-3, and here they are. They won 3 straight. Now, granted, it's the Vikings, it's the Titans, it's the Steelers. Not to say the Steelers are an unimpressive win, but they're a win. They are a win for sure. Not really sure what to make of those. Titans, it's not a great win. It's especially considered they only won by 7. But regardless, they're back at 7-3. They're a game behind in the AFC West, right behind the Broncos, who it's almost seemingly they're destined to fall off a cliff if their offense continues to play that the way they do. But Danny, talk to me in this one. I mean, the Steelers offense could really never get anything going on their one red zone trip. They couldn't make a touchdown out of it because Roger seemingly was trying to force it to DK. Talk to me. What really lost the Steelers this game?
I'm going to tell you what loses the Steelers a game every week. And it is their lack of ability to establish any run. They are, I believe, last in the NFL, averaging 85 yards per game on the ground as a team. Not Jalen Warren, not Kenneth Gainwell. As a whole, they average 85 yards per game on the ground. Overall, they average 275 yards of offense per game, and that's just not going to cut it in the modern NFL, especially when your defense is giving up 25 points a game. That's the reality of lose the Steelers a game. And this time around, maybe it wasn't this overall running game, and it was a stinker by Aaron Rodgers. And this is the first time that he came out and actually played a overall bad game all around. So I'm not going to call for his head. I'm not going to say that Aaron Rodgers is washed. He played a bad game. He's certainly worse than he's been over the past 5 years. But look, he was an MVP candidate 4 years ago. Of course, he's going to be worse than he was. He was the MVP 4 years ago, not MVP candidate. He was the MVP. He's nowhere near that level now. I'm not going to act like he is. But the Steelers can win games with Aaron Rodgers. And look, I think they're still in purgatory. I would love to see Will Howard action towards the end of this year, to be honest. Look, if they fall under 500, put Will Howard in. See what you got.
Not mad at that. You know, I'm a big Will Howard guy, believe it or not. I did just want to point how you were bringing up that later game that would be for the AFC North. You might lose it next week. So,
I mean, they got the Bengals this week. So maybe we'll see.
I mean, lost to them before. I mean, I'm picking the Steelers. I'm just saying though. Obviously, you guys have the Bengals this week. The Ravens have the Browns. Lots of AFC North action going on.
They have the most. Steelers are the most random team in the NFL. They'll go and beat I guarantee they're gonna beat the Lions and lose to the Dolphins.
That's something they would do. Again, I'm telling Danny this. I came into this week with 2 NFL teams I don't think I figured out yet. I haven't figured out the Vikings. And I think I've walked away this week. I think I'm good. I think I'm good on them this year. I'm not out on JJ or anything. I want JJ's he's very corny, but I want him, continue to play this year, continue to develop. He has not played a lot of football. So he needs to continue to, keep getting these NFL stars together. Then there's the Steelers. I don't think I'm not going to figure out what kind of team they are. They are Yahtzee. I'll never figure it out. But to go to Chris, me and Chris actually picked the Chargers in this one. They are the team that won this game. Chris, what did you? I mean, obviously there was not a lot of big plays in this one. It was a lot of yak from guys like McConkey, Quentin Johnston, of course. Vidal had a great game on the ground. Where do you stand with LA at the moment? Because obviously, like I said, they had that hot start. they had that middle portion where they were kind of falling apart a little bit. Now they're back 3 in a row. So where are you standing with LAC? Not talking Clippers.
I think it's like I don't know, it's like for the Chargers. Like I don't want them in a first round playoff matchup, but I wouldn't be terrified type of thing, I think they're just inconsistent, which is what they've shown. And I think inconsistency really bites you in the playoffs or in the times we need to be most consistent. And that's usually, like when the games matter the most. So I think they're a tier above the bad teams, like easily. But I wouldn't put them in the AFC elites, but I would put them and I wouldn't even say they're contenders, but they're a playoff team in my opinion. I don't know if they win a game, but I think they make the playoffs. I don't know. I think they're just too inconsistent for me to really solidify a real opinion on them because they've had games where I'm like, you know what, they can challenge to come out the AFC, and they've also had games where I feel like they don't have enough. So it's like I think they're just too inconsistent for me as a team, but a good win nonetheless. Conference win, still it was a good win as a Ravens fan. Great win. I really appreciate them for what they did. The Harbaughs never turn on us, so thank you, Jim. But other than that, they're just inconsistent, honestly.
I think the Chargers and Ravens. So apparently on Twitter, there's a Bears-Eagles alliance. Apparently. Not sure what that's about. That's gonna end on Black Friday. Hope they know. But what if the Chargers and Ravens got into a hardball alliance? An if-man alliance, one could say. Between shoulda, woulda, coulda man and if hypothetical Herbert man. What if? What if the what ifs got together? They'd make a hell of a team.
Man, last time the Eagles played the Chargers, it was a crazy game.
When was the last time we played the Chargers?
That was a game.
Was it 2021?
Yeah, 2021 in Philly, I think.
Is that really the last time we played them? Sheesh. Yeah, that was a pretty crazy game.
Jair Alexander is stepping away from football.
Well, must be something in the Philadelphia air.
So Jair's retiring?
I guess so. That locker room must have too much energy going on because
you know what's crazy? He and I think this is the good reason why they said he was healthy scratch. I think he's just got injuries that he just won't heal from all the way. I think he's kind of calling one because I watched it's this Ravens insider that I watch on YouTube, and he was saying that Jair wasn't practicing a lot of those times. He just wasn't practicing, and they don't think he was healthy. I think he probably just has an injury just won't heal or something like that, or something that's just gonna be nagging or something. It's got to be. It's got to be. That would be the only thing that makes sense.
Leading rusher for the Eagles last time the Eagles played the Chargers. I'm gonna let you guess.
I don't know. Boston Scott.
Jordan Howard.
I didn't know he was still on the team.
He had 71 rushing yards back in 2021. Just ridiculous.
Oh, right. Because 2021, we brought him back for a little bit. He had a couple of little decent games. I know he had a little decent game against Denver too, if I'm not mistaken. But enough harping on the past. Let's talk about Jags Texans, which was an unexpected banger because we all picked the Jaguars with Davis Mills at quarterback, and we didn't assume that Davis Mills would be the best quarterback in this game. So
prayers up that Travis Hunter as well. After the year now, looks like he'll be back next year. Non-contact injury.
That's so
LCL.
That's what I didn't see.
That didn't happen in this game, but yeah.
No, yeah.
Shout out to the bro. But let's talk about this one. I mean, the Texans are one of those teams. Let's see. The Texans are 4-5 in the moment. They're only a game behind Jacksonville. None of them are going to catch the. I thought the Jaguars, if they won this game, they were going to be 6-3, and you're still in a decent shot to chase Indy for the division. They have no shot now, if you ask me. But the Texans are so chasing a wild card spot. In their last couple of games, I mean, they put up 36 against the Jaguars. They lost a tough one, losing C.J. Stroud midway through the game against Denver, but then they put up 26 points on San Fran. They lost a one possession game with Seattle. They put up 44 on the Ravens, which doesn't exactly count. And then 26 on the Titans. So their offense is seemingly starting to find their way through this last month of football. If you ask me. So what are you guys expecting from Houston? You know, are we expecting a playoff push? Do we feel like their offense is finding enough juices? Stroud was obviously out with a concussion, so he should be back next week. Do you think they could find a way to get one of these last playoff spots? You know, they got Kansas City is a game ahead of them. The Jaguars have the tiebreaker over the Chiefs for that 7th spot. The Bills, we'll talk about them in a little bit. They're not necessarily indestructible either. But they do sit at 6-3. They're 2 games ahead. But yeah,
interesting. Their schedule allows them to decide their own fate. They have the Bills. They play the Colts twice. They play the Chiefs. They also play the Chargers. They also have some pretty winnable games against the Titans and the Cardinals and the Raiders. So, like, they have winnable games, and then they play at their opponents that they must beat in order to make the playoffs. So, they decide their own fate. They can, at max, in my opinion, drop 2 of those games with 5 losses.
Yeah, that would give them what, 10-7 if they were to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the good news. The good news is you control your own destiny pretty much. The bad news is your destiny is hard.
You play the Chiefs. You play the Bills. You play the 2 teams that need wins, like you do. This is going to be good games, but they also have 2 of the 3 elite quarterbacks in the NFL. Not what you want to do. At least they don't have the Ravens, because the Ravens I wouldn't want to play any between now and February.
Yeah, I'm almost convinced that Lamar could have probably went against the Bears, and they were just like, no, Snoop got this. Snoop got this, and Lamar is more than fresh. He's, after the early season struggles as the team, he kind of just basically got 4 weeks of rest, and he's ready to go. I want to move to Chris. I want to talk about the Jaguars a little bit. What do you make of this season from Trevor Lawrence? I think we are far removed from we needed you to be the prince who was promised. We needed you to be generational quarterback, Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning, John Elway kind of thing. At this point, we're just asking you to be just a good quarterback. But with missing Brian Thomas Jr. for some time, or no, not Brian Thomas Jr., missing Travis Hunter effectively for all of this year, and this being his first year with Liam Cohen, how do you think they plan to go about Trevor Lawrence? He's got the big deal, so do you think he continues to be their answer? Do you think that, they give him a shot next season, or do you think they might end up going in a different direction if he can't salvage the ship to finish the year? You're on mute, bro.
I was cooking. I actually wasn't. I literally just said, I think he's their guy, whether that be fortunately or unfortunately. Like you said, he has the deal, so it kind of just is what it is at this point. Not forever, but I think the one word for Trevor Lawrence is just disappointing, because you have if man. And even the if mans have showed something. I think it's just right when Trevor Lawrence gets to that point. I feel like Paul Pierce. Just don't just give me a little bit of it when I'm ready for the whole. It's like he shows you just enough to where you're still on the coattail, and then he'll have a game where it's like, you know what, never mind. Maybe I was wrong. And I think that's just what it is for him. It's kind of like he never has enough. He doesn't have enough weapons. He doesn't have a good coach. He doesn't have this. But then when he finally gets one, we start blaming another thing, give him another excuse. And this is for how hard people go on quarterbacks, I always give this example, but 2 different players, obviously 2 different tiers. The fullback Jalen Hurts gets after winning, and the ignoring of Trevor Lawrence losing, it's asinine to me. It's just people get so many excuses. And I think I'm out of excuses for Trevor Lawrence. You drafted Travis Hunter, obviously, to help the defense, but also to give another weapon to Trevor Lawrence too. He gets hurt, yes, I get it, but it's he just never has enough. He had ETN, I won't say he got Bigsby traded, but it's so much things have happened, and I think you can kind of put Trevor Lawrence at the center of it, whether it be good or bad. So I don't know. I think I'm just out of giving him excuses. Obviously, the Jaguars probably going to stick with him because he has the deal, but I don't know. I think I'm just over the what ifs on Trevor Lawrence. You kind of spoke to him. I think I'm just kind of like past. I think he's just going to be average at best. Where he's going to have great games and then ass games, but just overall average.
Yeah, I think I mean I pretty much agree for the whole part. I mean, like,
lastly, I hope he's not the
you go ahead.
precursor to Caleb Williams. That's my last thing. I hope he's not the precursor. I hope it's not in 2 years looking at Caleb Williams like, well, he had all this talent, he had all of this coming out, but he didn't do this. I hope it's not that, because I think Caleb is going to be better than that, but I just hope it's not that, because Trevor Lawrence was looked at as the best QB prospect in I don't know how long. So I just hope it's not for that.
I would love to know if I could compare exactly Williams' start to his second year and Lawrence's start to his second year, because that would be a really good indicator, because the last 8 games of that season is when Lawrence really started to like turn it up. But I don't think I have like the proper stat head that'll let me pluck those 2 years individually. But I mean, Caleb, at the very least, okay, year 1, it doesn't have Urban Meyer. It's not that bad, but it's pretty bad. But he makes the most of it. He ends up actually having a solid rookie year, but Jaden Daniels is so good that it kind of overshadows it. Lawrence, kind of same deal. Mac Jones had the good rookie year. Then second year he came through. But I mean, since then, since he had that ankle injury in his third year, it just hasn't necessarily come together. So, hope he can end up being a fine quarterback. But I'm out on the top 7 ceilings and all that. I think I'm done. There's nothing that Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter can do to get him from snapping the ball at 1 or 0 on the play clock. There's nothing they can do to get him from throwing past the line of scrimmage for whatever reason. There's nothing that they can do to help him, not take boneheaded sacks. So, yeah, I think I'm just out on him being a highly touted, NFL quarterback. I think he's going to be fine. But, there's another tall white quarterback who is living up to his name. And that's going to be Drake May, who we can trick into if you guys don't mind. I mean, Danny, you were probably at the forefront of this game. I mean, you're Baker FC, you're president of Drake May FC. Just talk to me. I mean, Drake May, he didn't have exactly the greatest first half, I would say. The completion percentage wasn't exactly great, but anyway, just what would you rate May's performance today?
I think overall it came down to kind of one big mistake in the fourth quarter, throwing that pick in the red zone. Inexcusable, can't happen. Just trying to extend the play and unfortunately threw an interception. It didn't come back to bite him because Trayvon Henderson's fantastic, to be honest. But I think this is the Patriots coming out party in terms of people saw the Bucs as a contender. People saw the Bucs as like closer to elite than a fringe playoff team, even without Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Maybe this game's a little bit different with those elite receivers back in the game, which Mike Evans is out for the year probably, right? He might be back in the playoffs, but he's out for at least the regular season. And Chris Godwin is ankle dependent if he's even going to play football again. So Bucky Irvin's also out. They're banged up. I'm not going to discount this win, though. That's a really good football team. That's a really well-coached football team. And that's a team that's the Patriots team that they've dropped 2 games that they've made boneheaded mistakes on. They should have beat the Steelers. And like, I'm not going to be shoulda, coulda, woulda, but they're 8-2. And no 8-2 team ever is 8-2 for no reason. Even the 11-0 Steelers back in 2020 weren't 11-0 for no reason. They might have been a fraudulent 11-0, but they still won the games. You still have to win the games. And I'm not saying the Patriots are favored to win the Super Bowl now, but they play efficient football. They run the ball really like decently to the edge. They need to work on the inside zone, but Drake May has elevated this team to unthinkable levels. And shout out Matt Collins. Who would have thought Matt Collins had a 10-year NFL career? Not me.
Yeah, no shot. I mean, he was hardly getting reps on a Philadelphia team where the best two receivers were. I mean, no disrespect to these dudes, of course. Alshon Jeffrey was about at the end of his prime. Nelson Aguilar was in the thick of his random run. Torrey Smith. Yeah. So, I absolutely agree. I mean, Drake May. The more and more separated we get from him making those weird, bizarre airmail throws and inaccurate, just what were you doing type of moments like in the red zone. I mean, we're going to be looking at a top 5 quarterback before you know it. He's been absolutely sensational. He is at the forefront of why the Patriots are 8-2. Absolutely, they need one win to get above their season over under. They were set at 8.5. I said it was high. Chris believed it was high. Danny took the over, and he's about one game from it hitting. He's also a tremendous losing streak from it not happening. But
and they play the Jets on Thursday.
Barring a nightmare. Who do they play?
The Jets.
Okay, so congrats on Danny for the over there. Because if we were discussing the Browns-Jets game, I'd have nothing good to say about anybody besides the Jets special teams.
What, Justin Fields, outside that one throw, didn't he have like 18 passing yards in the entire day?
Yeah. I think he just had 58 for the game.
Yeah, it was that one throw behind the line of scrimmage to Breece Hall, and it was like 18 yards on top of that.
Justin Fields went 6 for 11, 54 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick.
You would have thought they were playing
the ball 11 times. What the first and foremost?
They're sending him to Korea. They're sending him to Korea to go play baseball. That's okay.
And that's fine. But my thing is, you can't come tell me that 11 times is enough, especially when you're not winning.
They won.
Enough.
They won.
It can't be enough. But guess what? You know why it was enough? Because it was the Justin Fields out there. You can chuckle all you want. You can chuckle all you want, Mr. Antonio. You can chuckle. But
the best quarterback in this game was on the sideline for Cleveland.
That's what they – well, I won't be mad at that. But the second best quarterback was out there.
I'm going to look up who's on the coaching staff for these teams. If I find out one of them was a former quarterback, he was the second best quarterback on the field that day.
I will cut your internet. I will cut it so you can't look at that.
You're gonna understand the powers of 5G.
Don't worry about it, because I will make sure Justin Fields is it. Justin Fields' name will never die. Never die with me alive. I tell you that.
Yeah. But anyway, back to Pat's Bucks. The Bucks have lost 2 of the last 3. I'm not necessarily pumping any brakes on them. They're gonna win their division. It's gonna be okay. Where I think I'm starting to pump the brakes though. NFC contenders. You lost to Philly. You lost to Seattle, and you lost to Detroit. And then you lost to the team who could potentially be repping the AFC. Or sorry, that's 4 losses. That's not correct. They don't have 4 losses. What am I doing? Who am I missing? What did they do? Did they not play somebody? Why in the world? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Am I tweaking? Why their record says 6-3 on Rio, but I most certainly they beat Seattle. I'm sorry, I don't know why I thought they lost the game. They beat Seattle. Please ignore me, but they beat Seattle, which is a good indication that they're still in that NFC contender hunt. But again, lost to Philly, you lost to the Patriots, who could be representing the other conference. You've lost to Detroit, who you also lost to in the playoffs a couple years ago. Not a good look. So just real quick, I mean, are you guys still in? Like, could the Bucks still win the NFC, or are you guys slightly fading that maybe?
Yeah,
win the NFC.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think they're winning anymore.
I think the defense is still good. I think they're banged up, honestly. I think they need to get healthy. I think we could see them kind of turning around the way the Ravens have turned it around once they get healthy.
Yeah, I hear you. Let's move to our last game, which is Bills Dolphins. And I'm going to be honest, we're here for one reason and one reason only. That was unacceptable by the Bills. It was a bad loss, double-digit loss to the Miami Dolphins, who, again, they're a bad team. They are a bad team.
Yep.
But you get to a point with Tua where it's like, if nothing is on the line, he is just going to let it fly. The results will vary for sure. I remember he threw that pick. I texted you guys. I was like, I'm literally watching the worst quarterback ever. And then 2 possessions later, he drops it in the bucket to Jalen Waddle. So, not really too much to harp on, like, oh, Dolphins, season rebirth, whatever. Tua, give him another deal. Maybe. But what do we make of the Bills? They are the Steelers of the elite teams. They go and beat Kansas City. They came back and beat Baltimore early in the year. They lost to the Falcons, and they lost to the Dolphins. Should every team in the AFC adapt a left-handed quarterback? Is that their weakness?
Adapt or die. I'm kidding.
So what the Ravens need to do is they need to go trade Lamar for Dylan Gabriel, and that's how they'll beat the Bills in the playoffs. Thoughts?
I don't want Dylan Gabriel anywhere near my locker room. But if that's what it takes. Oh, also, I'm not cutting Snoop for it, so we'll just have to lose. Because I refused to cut Snoop for the person who's standing in front of Shedeur Sanders. Refuse. Actually,
Snoop would just be the backup quarterback.
Actually, you know what? Dylan Gabriel, you can come over to the Ravens because now we'll be the double agent. Shedeur, you lost your chance to play for the Ravens. Guess what? We'll take your competition, put them on the Ravens. We'll win. Y'all will lose, but at least you'll start.
But y'all have to trade Lamar.
Okay.
Yo, Chris, I'm about to give you nightmare scenario. You ready?
No. Tony's done enough. Because things like that won't be tolerated. Trading Lamar Jackson and Dylan Gabriel in the same sentence. I don't care
if it promised that you would for sure beat the Bills in an AFC Championship game.
If Lamar's
guess what?
I don't care.
Guess what, Chris? I'm going to tell you something. The Ravens, when they get the 4 seed, and they're 10-7, 11-6,
and we play them in the wild card game. I know.
And then they play the Bills in a wild card game because the Patriots win the division and take the 1 seed.
Oh no, that's not a nightmare. You want to know why? Either we win, and I can talk crazy to everybody who talked crazy to me last year, or we lose, and I go to LeBron route and say it's good enough. We made it. We started the season 1-5. I don't lose here. And then guess what? You know what? I double down. Because if Josh Allen beats the Ravens, he's got to lose to Patrick Mahomes. That's just how the universe works. So I still win. I get to watch Patrick versus Jalen 3.
You ready? So the Ravens win, and then a 7 seed Chargers win, and it would be Chargers versus Patriots, and it's just Chiefs versus Patriots in the AFC Championship game again. Looks like we got another dynasty battle back to back.
Unfortunately, I won't allow that. So they have to figure out something else.
Flacco won his first ring by beating the Patriots in the AFC title game. Actually, by falling down. I think he fell down. He either fell down 14 points twice or he came back 14 points twice in that game. But
he definitely beat
regardless. If Lamar wants to win a ring, he has to see Drake May in the AFC title game.
Sounds about right. And you got to go through Drake May. The AFC goes through Drake May. That's fine.
As long as Stephon Diggs on that team.
AFC don't go through no damn Drake May.
As long as Stephon Diggs on that team, I know he's going to have to step away at some point for a child at some point. So I know he'll be down as number 1 receiver. That'll be.
He's got to step away for 2.
That's what I'm saying. At some point,
some random woman.
Oh yeah, child will be born at some point soon. So I know Diggs won't be able to play. At least
he's not showing up. He doesn't show up for the playoffs anyway, dude. Don't worry about that.
Oh yeah, we're good.
Yo,
he hasn't done that for years.
Apparently, it was four people.
Yeah, that is true. Also,
I thought he had 2, and then he had Cardi, and then another woman come out recently.
It's 4 of them all together.
Hold on 1 second.
He's dumbfounded.
He said, "Hold fast."
Danny's brother just texted me and said, "You better be watching the Kentucky Louisville game. It doesn't start till 8." And I hope he knows I'm not watching because I'm covering the Sixers game. If anyone cares, though, Temple's beating LaSalle. We're starting Big Five play.
I
Just
think he
saying.
knows.
And Penn is losing to Providence. Just so
Not-
you know.
Not the U Penn where Danny graced.
Who the hell's on our team anymore?
You're not tapped in with your team, man, and that's your problem. You don't even like Penn for real. You so caught with Princeton and Brown and Harvard down your throat. You don't even recognize what your team is doing as greatness.
Yo, tell me how they're shooting 62% from 3 right now.
Can't keep up. Won't happen against them.
Yo, Chris, they're doing that, but shooting 40% from the field. How is that possible?
That's the new college basketball, Danny. Get ready. That is a new college basketball. Weird.
How do you shoot 62% from 3, but 40% from the field? What?
These kids are diff.
Because that's peak hoops right there, baby.
Yo,
but y'all don't have Gavin, LeBron, Frames, Griffiths. So
you're right, but we used to have Brett Brown's son.
That is true.
Congrats on having a Nepo child. Our Nepo child was good. Jamal Mashburn Jr. got an Exhibit 10 from the Lakers. So
Jamal Mashburn is good, dude.
Hella good. Jamal Mashburn is the guy.
Jamal Mashburn Jr. A damn good player.
Very
His
good.
dad was really good.
Diff, actually.
Chris, let me know what you think of this comp. Somebody posted a clip of AJ Demansa playing, and someone was like, all I see is RJ Barrett. I was like, one, that's like probably the worst comparison I've ever heard in my life. You're talking about one of the most flexible players ever, and then RJ Barrett, who is like stiffer than stone. And I saw a comment, though. He said, I think he kind of plays like Jamal Mashburn, though. I wanted to know your opinion on that, because I'm not going to act like I know Jamal Mashburn inside and out. But I
he's dead on. It's very dead on. And it's more so because of Mashburn's size. I swear to God, Mashburn was in the league about 12 years too early. He legitimately would be a 28-8 small 4 stretch 4 if he was around now. Because
let me ask you something real quick before we get out of here. 1 through 5, a point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, center. Give me your starting 5. He was too early lineup, like guys who was like they weren't good in their era, or like they were okay in their era, but if they were here now, how would their game translate? Who would you put at the point?
At the point. One of my favorites, actually, who I think he was a little too early for the super explosive guard, and it's not too far away. Emmanuel Mudiay might be on there as well. I know it sounds crazy because we kind of seen him late, but if he say he was drafted in 2018 instead of maybe 2014, whatever year he was drafted, I think Mudiay will be very, very good. I actually have Mashburn at the 2 because I would put Grant Hill at the 3, even though Grant Hill was really good. The time for point forwards now, like Grant Hill would damn near be a triple-double guy. Because, and by the way, he leads the Pistons in triple-doubles, by the way. And Cade is like 3 away from tying him. I mean, from passing him at 12. But Grant Hill was the guy, but he was so like that. Power forward, you'll probably like this one, Tony. Antoine Walker. I think this is a tad too early. Even though he was very, very good, a power forward who can legit put the ball on the floor and go get a bucket and make you double from anywhere on the court, I think Antoine Walker would have been elite. And like it had he been like in the 2020, 2015, like he'd have been elite. And center, there's a couple centers.
If you say who I'm thinking right now.
What team?
No. I'm thinking of it backwards. I'm thinking of if a guy played earlier. No, ignore me. I was thinking Jalil Okafor. I was like, no way, he'd be even worse today.
Yeah, but he'd be worse today. But if Ja was 10 years earlier, he would have been an all-star, perennial all-star. Damn, at center, it's a couple names. Scola, Luis Scola.
Luis Scola, oh my God.
Luis
Even though
Scola
Scola
shout out.
He was really a 4, but in this game he'd be a 5, and he'd be like not as good as Şengün. I don't think he's as talented, but he'd be a similar version, like a hub guy, like a Sabonis. It's like a hub guy could do it. And last thing I'll say before I stop yapping, Debance is like a mix between T-Mac and Jamal Mashburn. That would be my, if I had to put one player, he's like Mashburn and T-Mac because he's fluid like T-Mac, but he wants to score like Mashburn did. So
I hear you. Well, appreciate the insight for sure. Always love to know some good college basketball comparisons, as I'm still a pup to all the college basketball stuff, essentially. So, but thank you guys for tuning in. Again, if you're watching this on YouTube, leave a like, subscribe to the channel. Audio listeners, leave a like, 5-star review. Download the episode from AP New Freezer, coached by Amigos DC Comics. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys next week.